the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Much of religion is counterintuitive if we look at it in earthly terms. In fact, I sometimes think we probably seem crazy to outsiders. And for this reason, when the rulers of this age heard Christ, they misunderstood him. Otherwise, as Paul writes, they would not have crucified him. Christ tried earnestly to explain himself to them, but most could not hear. They could not understand, for example, why he broke Jewish law. They assumed that he must not value the law, even though he tells them explicitly otherwise. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets, he counters when speaking from the mount to the crowds who gathered around to hear him. I've come not to abolish, but to fulfill. But they do not grasp that because the law was meant to protect and to guide people towards a more godly existence, when he heals on the Sabbath, on a deeper level, he is fulfilling the purpose of the law. As Christ explains in Mark, the Sabbath was made for humankind, and not humankind for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord, even of the Sabbath. Now most of the crowd hearing him are simply thinking in black and white terms. For them there are two options. Either one obeys the Sabbath at all times, or one dismisses it as pointless. We often practice black and white thinking, especially when fear turns us inward. Black and white thinking allows us to simplify our experience of the world, a very complex world, sometimes threatening, so that it seems more manageable. This, however, also reduces our responsibility. It reduces our responsibility to something that seems threatening. When we're afraid, it just feels safer either to follow the law blindly, which requires little thought, or to ignore it entirely, which also requires little thought. When we respond this way, though we may feel less threatened, we actually weaken ourselves. And that's why Christ models for us how to live out the spirit of the law. It gives us strength to face what we must face. Black and white thinking is particularly common today. I know you're aware that now is a time of deep division. People are self-satisfied, convinced of their own rectitude, whereas Christ calls us to humility. When a person's opinion on a matter differs from our own, we become blind to the myriad other things that we have in common. We forget that we all struggle to find a way to navigate this existence, that we all long for safety, that we all experience hurt and loss, that we are all children of God. When Christ spoke to the crowd, he did not say, "Some of you are the salt of the earth." He told them that they were all the salt of the earth. But like salt, we all have that ability to enhance the shared experience of life by using our gifts and contributing what we can. There are, however, those who avoid this responsibility, those who have forgotten, as St. Teresa of Calcutta said, that we belong to one another. They put their lights under a bushel basket. They're still salt. They're still gifted. They're still children of God. But they've lost their flavor. They did not do what salt does by its very nature. They've abandoned their purpose. They've lost their point. Now, addressing the Corinthians, Paul calls such people unspiritual. The word he uses actually means something like focused on their own spirit or their own mind. The word is psyche, actually. Their own mind, focused inwardly. Whereas those who are spiritual are outwardly focused. Now, it's natural that we turn our focus inward when we need to protect ourselves from some imminent danger. But some people live that way all the time. What is unclear to the unspiritual to live that way is that we are stronger and able to thrive only when we are focused outward. Last week I asked Mark to play a specific hymn at communion because it fit well with the theme of my homily. And the hymn was, "It is well with my soul." Now, until Mark told me, I didn't know anything about this hymn. But she told me that it was born out of the author's personal tragedy. So when I got home, I looked it up, and I found out that the lyricist, Horatio Spafford, was a prosperous Chicago lawyer who owned a lot of property downtown in the city. He had a wife, 5 children. But then in 1871, his only son died at the age of 2. Shortly thereafter, the Great Chicago Fire destroyed his property and nearly ruined him financially. Then, in 1873, what remained of his business interests were further damaged by a great downturn. It is called the Long Depression. We tend to forget these things. We remember the last one, but the one before that. The Long Depression was an economic contraction lengthier than the Depression of the 1930s. And among other institutions, for example, 89 railroads and several states went bankrupt. This contraction seems to have been caused by the United States' cessation of the bimetallic standard of silver and gold. They went only for gold after that, to back the dollar. No longer was the silver standard used. This caused an economic upheaval throughout the world. Stafford had planned to travel to Europe with his family in November of that year, but was delayed on business. So he sent his wife and 4 daughters ahead on the French iron steamship, SS Vie de Havre. I don't speak French. I just try to make it look like I can. While crossing the Atlantic, the ship collided with a vessel, the Scottish 3-masted iron clipper Loch Earn, and sank in 12 minutes. 226 people died, including all 4 of Stafford's daughters. Among the 87 passengers and crew who were rescued was Stafford's wife, Anna, who later sent him a telegram from Europe that said simply, "Saved alone." Stafford traveled to join his grieving wife, and when his ship passed the area where his daughters had died, he wrote the hymn, "It is well with my soul." Rather than focusing inward and becoming bitter, Spafford focused outward, followed the Spirit, and that gave him strength in the midst of terrible loss and grief. He was able to praise God. We are the salt of the earth, but we lose our essence when we become fearful, withdraw inside, and view things in black and white. When we do so, we lose what is most precious in humans, our ability to love, to care, to have compassion, to work together. We become weaker and tend to spend a great deal of time blaming others. We point the finger, as Isaiah describes it, and are even more burdened for it. He writes, "If you remove the yoke from among you, the pointing of the finger, the speaking of evil, if you offer your food to the hungry and satisfy the needs of the afflicted, then your light shall rise in the darkness, and your gloom be like the noonday." Self-focus places a heavy burden upon us and conceals our light. In focusing outward, we do not deny our pain. The pain is still there and very real, but we are able to see it in a larger context. This strengthens us and lets our light shine as we use our gifts for the good of all. So do not let anyone or anything force you to retreat inside and cause you to lose your flavor. Amen.